guys, we are back. This is our 5th video in the series, and now we get to play. We've got some, we're going to finish off with some of the setup, and we're going to make sure that we're happy with that. And then what we're going to try and do today is get some of the integrations going, which are here out of the box with Microsoft. And then we're going to move over to getting our online store online. Just to prepare for this, I've gone and spun up a $1 subscription to Shopify. It's a brand new empty shop. There's nothing in it. And there is my store that we're going to use today as an example for this particular demo. So, okay, so we're just a recap. We've turned BC on. We've loaded a new company using some template data, inherited a chart of accounts, cleaned up the posting groups enough that I'm happy. Where our business that we're emulating here is like an events business, a bit of merch, some signage, that type of stuff. So we've got this capacity here to turn around and provide some products and services. And I've loaded some of those items that you saw before. So as I go in here, you can see some of the photos. I actually loaded some books. ChatGPT, for whatever reason, I said, give me some example books. It knew that I'm a Christian, and it turned around and made up some Christian books. So anyway, we'll run with it. We've got some demo data. For you, if you talk to ChatGPT and you say, hey, give me some demo products for Business Central, it will come back and it will do a good job. So you can lean in on that. All right. So first things first, with a manual setup we've talked about, we've gone through. One we haven't, and I'm going to bookmark this one. Okay, and we're going to go assisted setup, and let's bookmark that one as well. All right, assisted setup. You've got to understand that the company that you're trading in, like the company that you've got, may be subject to having multiple companies. So production environment, we have one database called production. It can have 300 separate companies. Some tables of data in here are across the whole environment. For example, when I go to users, just here, this table is global. It goes across all companies. And within the table, when I go to it, I can isolate the settings down to a particular company, but it is a global table. And you got to be careful when you install extensions into Business Central, you're installing it into the production environment. So if you've got multiple companies that do different things and you install widely conflicting extensions, you could cause yourself problems that you don't want to be dealing with in the future. All right. So here we are. We've got assisted setup. And I just want to check through a few things. Enter company details. We wouldn't have done this before. So just a few minutes ago, I went and did this. I went, hey, let's do this. And it had a wizard there. So when I clicked on it, I just went next, just to get rid of the completed here. Now, we've got some other things here that we can do. And so we've done the company details. But you'll notice that I've already, if I hit GST, I've already traded. I can't do this. Okay. So let's remember, we're doing setups in a burn test. We need to go back to the master template. And this is going to create a situation when we end up with burn test 2. All right. So we're now in the master template. Okay. I'm going into assisted setup. And you can see it's blank. I'm going to hit company details. And here's that wizard I told you about. I'm going to hit next. I'm going to choose a logo. Let me just go do that. Logos, build dynamics, and that'll do. All right, we've got ourselves a logo and Redland Bay. So we've got ourselves an address, next, phone number, email address, bank details. Sweet, we're done. And so that really is, all that's done is that's updated. And you notice the master template name's now changed. So if I go into company information, you can see it's now got our official name here. Everything's loaded and overwritten. The problem here is my company name's changed. So I'm going to go back to companies, and I want to make sure I keep this as the master. So let's just call this. Okay, and this was Burn Test 01. All right, so now our names are back, and it's going to look a little bit better when we go into our list when we refresh. GST, welcome to GST setup. Let's hit next. All right, so GST, person group, specify whether you do business or type of business. See the options from a GST perspective. Choose all that apply. Okay, sure. Next, you must specify an ID, then recall the notification. So GST rates, and I'm going to turn this off, GST 10 includes GST of 10%. Okay, and we're not doing that. We're not doing service norm, full norm. And I think from memory, when I was playing with this before, I decided to do GST free. Okay, and I'm going to hit next. And the accounts we want to use for all of these, I'm going to keep them the same because they're the same tax accounts. So that's good. Next. You have not assigned a general ledger account for you won't be able to. Excuse me 1 sec. So reversing. Let's see what we got here in the template. Clearing, recon. I'm just going to go back with GST charge. I'm just going to choose this account for now, just so we've got a code in there. And GST clause description. So good GST 10. Okay. All right. Choose next. All right. And we're done. So GST Wizard, I've just got through that. So as an example, you may want to change your configuration. GST free means we're doing a transaction which is still reportable, whereas non-GST is non-reportable. And so you'll have, when you talk to your accountant, you'll turn around. Now, I do not state that I'm an accountant. I've got practicing accountants on our staff, CPAs, and sometimes I do some things like this and they roll their eyes. So please take your tax advice from your accountants. All right, so we've got some things here that I want to get through that were really important for me. Let me just pause for a sec and I'm going to show you exchange rate service. And just here, I need to enable a service. I've got to add it. And so normally what I do is I go to one of my other tenancies and I copy the settings that I know work really well. This one here, for example, is our first setting. And I'm just going to fast forward as I add this all in here for us. Yeah, so I've gone and done the exchange rate service and I've loaded it in here. And we've got a bit of a config there and we'll provide the notes for this on request. I'm going to go down. Now, you'll notice with some of these, when you go and complete an item, it doesn't tick it off as completed, which is fine. Don't overthink it. It's just, yeah, and you've got to be really careful. Don't run these setups after going live, like you do them beforehand in the template. So exchange rate service, set up outgoing email, we already did. I'm going to go down a little bit and go down into, you'll notice here that there's a few things that are really not applicable. So process consolidations, if you're doing consolidation through multiple companies, set up digital voucher features. So we don't need those. These are irrelevant. Connect to payment service is all about connecting PayPal and giving a pay here link on your invoices. Frankly, I don't use PayPal. I found, their policies in terms of conditions a little bit too much. We use Stripe, and so I'd sooner go to the App Store and install Stripe for Business Central. Migrate business data. This is kind of useless. Like if you go through it, it gives you a wizard and says, "Oh, what are you doing and how are you going to do it?" It gives you a template. The template's useless. We'll show you in our upcoming videos how to bring your data in. So we're going to do a video in this 7-day series about let's now get our data ready. And I wouldn't use that. AMC Banking 365 Fundamentals. This is like overseas. AMC has a banking connector which allows you to bring in statements, data from your banking. Doesn't work in Australia, so just ignore that. Set up a cloud migration, ignore that. Set up bank statement file import format. So this wizard's kind of useful because you can upload your bank statement exactly as it comes from the bank here. Upload it, define next, and it's going to give you the column layout and process of bringing in your statements and cleaning it up. So that wizard's always there. You can go back and run it at any time, which is super cool. Invite your external accountant. That's just like an invite email. Look, here's a trick. You have the ability in your licenses when you sign up to order 3 accountant licenses for free. So at the moment I've got this one, but if I was paying for it, if I was paying for licenses, I would like premium or essentials. They're your only 2 license types for Business Central you must have. When you've got it, you can order 3 account licenses. They cost $0 and they can do everything with exception to administrative tasks. And so the idea with this feature here is you can invite your external accountant to the company. Let's go down a little bit further. Connect with other systems. And so this is very much D365. So this is sales. We've got Shopify. We've got Power BI. We've got Dataverse. So if you're doing 365 sales, CRM, service, field services, they're all going to require you to have a connection to the Dataverse. And sales, we're not going to play with that. We are going to play with Shopify today. So can you connect external file accounts? We don't need that. Connect your files to the cloud. Let's scroll down a little bit further. We've got a few things here that are really about your workflow approvals, which you could be doing. I don't see it necessary. My scenario I'm trying to get up and running is a small business trying to get off the ground within 7 days. But the ones that I want to do here is the Excel add-in I did. So I went and did this Excel add-in. But here's what you should do. You just press next. It tells you where to go to. So you go into the integrated apps. Just here. Okay, so this is our administration. And as you can see here, I've got the Office add-in. Choose Get Apps. So let's go Get Apps. And it says Microsoft Office add-in. And let's go back here. I've already got it. I've already installed it. So let's close that. From here, we've got the 2 files that we're going to download. As it downloads the attachment, we need to actually export that zip file. And we're going to go over to Integrated Apps, click Upload Custom App. Make sure that you change this to the Office add-in. Upload the manifest file. And here's the zip file. I'm going to do Contact Insights. Wait for it. It's going to validate the file. Now it's validated. Next. Entire organization. Next. Finish. So I've got 2 files to do like this. It's just in progress. Provisioning. Look, it's sped up recently. Used to take, a day. It could take 24 or 48 hours to deploy this. Now in Office 365, that's deployed. See this? It can take up to 72 hours for the app to appear. Let's go do the second one. Manifest. Document view. And that will finish in due course. which is really cool. And what that means in your Office 365 email, if I go back to my email, just in Office 365 here, as soon as we click on an email, it gives me this app icon, and I can click it, and the apps are going to appear in here once they're deployed fully, and you can enable them, and a sidebar appears of Business Central. And this also works in desktop Outlook. It works in cloud. It's fantastic. So, okay, so we've done that one. Done. So the Outlook integration's done. We're going to do Teams. And so let's learn more about this. Next, let's go to click the link, choose policy. Let's go in. Teams Admin Center, go to Teams, Apps, set up policies. Okay, and it says, choose policy to include the setting to pre-install. We're going to go global org-wide policy, add apps, and I've selected Business Central. I hit add and save. I'm going to put this up above OneDrive. There we go, save. Changes will take time to take effect because it has to provision. So getting that out of the way, next, and done. So just getting some of these out of the way, Power Automate, making sure that it will work, next, and choose your organization. Yes. And done. And so now we've got a Power Automate integration that's been put in so we can use the Power Automate plugin as part of Business Central, which is really cool. Going back down to my list, access data with that's fine. Card settings, set up timesheet. So none of these other tasks at the moment are concerning me to get us up and running, but what we're wanting to do is to play with Shopify next. So once Teams is, this 365 is provisioned, and I can see within my, let's go have a look, within my published apps, I'll come back in another video and I'll show you that these funky tools up and running, which will be super exciting. Come on. And yeah, it's not there yet. So we'll wait for that to come in. All right, let's get on with our to-do list for today. Okay, so we've got our exchange rate service that I've gone through the setup of. I've gone through and completed some of the company details. Look, GST, it's very much was a next. I didn't want to turn around and fiddle with it too much. We've got the Outlook integration, the Teams integration, the Power App integration. Two more that we want to play with. One of the new features, and it's part of the Copilot features, you'll notice up the home screen, you've got these agents which are here. Part of this, when I'm in assisted setup, is the Copilot agent capabilities. Let's go in and let's see what we're talking about. And so these are the current production ready previews. So it's in preview, which means, potentially you're going to pay for this as a service. So see here how you've got billing type. By activating AI capabilities, you understand your organization may be billed for it in the future. So what they're saying here is payables agent and sales order agent, these are going to be billed things in the future. You've got generally available features, and you've got these ones here. So you'll notice Copilot is appearing everywhere. This is the Copilot icon at the top here. You'll notice if I was going back to my items and I see my items list here, I can hit Copilot and analyze list, and I can actually type what I want. You'll notice in the item I showed you Copilot, you've also got these two features here. And so I can actually connect this just here, and I hit activate, and it's going to give me basically the freedom to choose an account. Now at the moment, okay, I'm just going to connect this one because it's the only one that's showing. Default language, and it's this next button. See that here? I just go next. Respond to inquiries, engage all messages. All. You've got the ability to do all the first message. Search for requested items. Select only available items, including capable to promise. Review quotes when created and updated. Make orders from quotes. Right, so we're going to tick a few features and see what it does and hit update. And so now that's now activated. I'm going to do the same thing for the payables agent. I'm going to select the same mailbox. Cool. And next, and cool. We'll use that for now. That will do. All right. I accept terms and conditions. Cool. All right. The other thing that you'll notice is that in my master template, I've got no customers, vendors, items. Okay. So before we go and play with Shopify, we need to actually copy a new burn test. So let's go do that. We're going to go companies, and I'm going to copy this name here. So I'm going to replicate it. Master, copy, and this is burn test 2. Let's go. Okay, our company is copied. We're going to flick over. Let's just do that full refresh again. And we should see it here, Build Dynamics 2. Let's switch. And first things first, change the color of that icon, just so we remember where we are. Right down the bottom to deep purple, BT2, like that. Close, it's going to refresh. Okay, well, I've gone and done the school pickup on changed shirts, had a swim, and we're back at this. We're in burn test 2. We've got no data. There's nothing in here. Okay, we've got to fix that. The 2 ways to do it is by, well, 3 technically. Add the data manually, 1. Number 2, do a config pack, which is what we talked about yesterday. And number 3 is what's called a config worksheet, and you can Google this, look into it. Config worksheet allows you to list tables, and within the production environment that you've got, which is one database, you can push data between companies or tenants, which is pretty cool. So config worksheet. I'm going to go with the config pack just so we can give you a really good example of one. I'm switching back to burn test 1, and we're going to jump straight in, right back into config pack, and I've built a config pack here, good to go. It's got my configuration. I've got dimensions included as columns. I've limited the fields down to 26 or less fields per file, and I can export that to Excel, which gives me a spreadsheet, and this would allow me, if I wanted to wash the data, to edit it, to add real data in, my real customers and vendors. I could go load that in, which is super cool. And because it's a shorter file, it's easy for you to just rinse and repeat, just paste your data in. But make sure when you're pasting, all right, that you do it clean. So where effectively, what I mean by that is paste values just there. That way we don't corrupt the integrity of the file. I don't want to move it like that. I'm going to use what's called an export package. So click that, and it exports not only the data, but also the structure of this config pack. And we can go now into burn test 2. All right, and the process of a config pack, there's other videos I've got on my channel about this. We're not going to go too far into it, but it's import, select it, open it. It will now deploy that config pack, and then there's going to be this apply that appears, or we can open up the file and hit apply, or we can apply tables on a line by line basis. Okay, I'm going to go do that now, and we will start again. All right, now we have our data loaded. What we've got is we've got a list of customers, we've got vendors, we've got items, and I also in the config pack loaded images into the remaining items because I wanted them there for the Shopify side of what we're going to do. And we have, so if I go back to assisted setup, all of that previous setup is there, done, ready to go. We've got a clean company. We've got our Shopify store. Here it is. And now we need to turn around and look at setting up Shopify. So I'm going to go assisted setup, and I'm going to scroll down to let's just search it, Shopify. And get connected with Shopify. Next, accept. Next, what's the URL? In Shopify, to plug this in, I need to click on my store, all stores, and it gives me this weird URL thing. So I find it a bit awkward sometimes, and I just pop that into a Word document or a notepad, highlight the whole page type thing. So that's the URL. We hit next. It's going to pop open in the same browser, so it helps that I'm already logged into my Office 365 and my Shopify from the same browser session. I need to install the app. I hit install, and here we are. Import products from Shopify? No. Import products from Shopify. So import products or customers? No. Auto create orders? Yes. Where does shipping go to? I'm going to say freight. So it's going to be our freight expense account. We're all done. I'm going to hit finish. And if I now go to my Shopify menu, I should have a shop just here. So that's pretty cool. I'm going to click on it and show more. And I'm going to go through a few things that are here on the page. Language code for us here is English Australian, and there we go. And before I do anything, I'm going to actions, access, request access. That's worked, and I'm going to go access test connection. Connection successful. This is getting good. All right, and we're going to go down the page, and we've got to fill in certain things. So I need a default item template that I've already created. Sync images to Shopify, correct? Shopify can update items, can update Shopify products. So we're going to go with sync extended text, marketing and attributes, sync images to Shopify, sync items to Shopify, update Shopify products, auto create unknown items. The SKU mapping, we're going to do item number just there, nice and simple. But if we're using variants, we'll do item number and variant code. Inventory is tracked, yes. Default inventory. Policy status for created is active. Action for removed products is set to archived. Excellent. Price synchronization. We need a price group. We don't have one yet. So we're going to go add one. A new price group. We're going to call this default. And hit OK. And in that price group, I just want to open it and see the sales prices. And I would like to, this is for all customers. And I'm going to go and add my items. And we have ourselves a price group for all customers that's currently in the system that is now the pricing sheet for Shopify, which is pretty cool. I've got a published price, and I'm going to go cost plus 30%. And that's going to set my, let's go 80%. Okay, and that's just set ourselves a pricing level that we can use. I have here a discount group I'm not going to use. Sync price with products, yes. The general posting setup needs to be there. Price includes GST. No, it excludes allowed discount. Customer synchronization. Auto create unknown customers, which is the domestic Australian large template. The test customer, we've got Shopify can update customers. Yes. Name source is the company name. First and last. That's fine. Code, that's cool. So let's just keep going. Auto sync orders. Yes. We need some. So I've got my shipping charges account. I'm just going to use this as an expense account for a bunch of these accounts, but technically we should have those accounts there. Shopify order number on the document line. Yes. Tax area priority, no taxes because we're in Australia. Posted invoice sync and return and refund. Import only. Default is the original, which is main. I'm not going to worry about refunds right now. I don't need that. So we have ourselves a store, okay? And I should be able to just go straight in and synchronize products and hit OK. Okay, allow data to sync to Shopify. Enable. Sync products. Yes. Okay. And we go over to the store and we hit products. I'm going to see products start synchronizing, which is pretty cool. And just wait for it. I'm going to go to the store. And if I go to my catalog, look at this. We've got a bunch of products starting to get created. Let's just wait for it to finish. Great, they're all there. That's fantastic. So synchronize products. I'm going to synchronize the images. Okay. And so I've just hit that and my products should start showing up with pictures just like that. And so this tool, just to understand how it works off, we have effectively its own orders table. So when you go into a Shopify order, it's an actual separate table. This order synchronizes from Shopify to the Shopify table in Business Central, and then the automation kicks in and will create a normal sales order, or it will sit there pending your action. And so Shopify's integration for Business Central does actually do quite a lot out of the box. So we're talking, I need to do a bit of setup here, but I'm going to go to the locations and say, well, the default location in the store now maps to main, okay? And default product location, correct, and stock is projected inventory. So straight away, that's now the location it's using for my stock quantities. Shipment method. So I've got express. That for us is, I'm just going to say, what am I going to say? Delivery. I'm going to default them. Shipping charge is GL count and it's freight. And that's what we agreed to use. And shipping agent code is going to be own logistics. And the agent code will be next day. Cool. So I'm only giving you an example here. If you have your freight configuration, this is the Shopify configuration. It synchronizes here. You need to map that to something within Business Central. So when an order comes through, it will just work. So payment method mapping, we have a payment method that I haven't set up here yet. But if I did, it would turn around and show, and then I map it in the system. So I need to do some more setup in here, and we'll do that for our next workshop. I'll make sure that that's all out of the way. Going further into this payment terms, you've got your orders, refunds, and returns, the customers, customer templates, languages, sales channels, and bulk operations. And so it really, out of the box, all the related stuff out of the way, then you can synchronize. So I can go sync prices, and now the pricing is all going in. If I go back into my items, so let's go into an item, and I'm going to go back to my widget shirt, which is what I'm interested in. And we're going to do a little bit more work here. The Copilot is missing. And so within my store, if I go in and I take a look and I hit red shirt, it looks rather bland. There's no description or anything. And that picture is a bit blurry too. So you might want a better quality picture. So let's go do that. Let's go red shirt. Images, save image as JPG. Will that work? Looks like it is. So I'm going to go back into Business Central, update my picture. So we're going to go import, and on my desktop here I've got a new red shirt. Where did it go? Downloads. There it is. Better quality t-shirt picture. And now let's work on our attributes. So on my attributes, I did have this before. I had a color, and I've clearly deleted it. I'm going to also type. So I'm going to add some attributes here. So quality is high. High. Color is red. We're going to go manufacturer is Shirt Co USA, and the type is men's plain. So really, and this is for the I'm not going to map them to the unit of measure. That's fine. And against this text here, I've got my description 1. I'm going to go to my red shirt here and just copy that. I think that's a great description just there. We're going to update that. Just going to give me a better description. Now I'm going to say, hey, Copilot, give me some marketing text because I need your help, buddy. And here we go. Look at that. Go the extra mile. And I can say, look, I want it upbeat. And I want elegance. And that's what we're going to run with. I'm going to keep that. So I've kept my new description, my photo. I'm going to escape out of the product. I'm going to go back to my store. And here I'm going to synchronize the products. I'm going to synchronize the images. And there we are. How cool is that? That's like out of the box, up and running really quickly picture. Now, some of the gotchas. You only get one image per product in Business Central. So a lot of my clients will turn around and take their product here, and then they'll load a bunch of images, and they'll turn the image sync off. And they say images sync from Shopify to BC. So they load their PIM, their product information library, they load into Shopify and then synchronize it backwards. That's one way. If you're a retail store, it comes down to what if you want to go more advanced, this is how you do it. Okay, today in the company, we've gone and done the Shopify. Super cool. We've got our store up and running. We have assisted setup smashed and set up in the master template, ready to go. Company details, exchange rates, GST. We've got Outlook, Teams, Power, the Power platform, which is what you see in every menu here with Automate. So that's all now done. We've got the sales agents all done. So we've got some cool stuff out of the way. I know we said we'll probably start working on a book to bank test. I think I want to go and fix the setup of this store so there's a payment method up and running so we can test properly. And then we're going to come back in the next video straight into testing. How's that sound? Thanks for following. Please give us a like. Please give it a share. And I'll see you in the next video.